Good evening. So I watched The Best Man, the final chapters, yesterday. Binge watched it. Amazing, amazing series. And then on Christmas night, actually, we had went to see the Whitney Houston movie. What's I keep wanting to say what's love got to do with it, but and I'll explain why I keep saying that. It's really at this point just slipping right out of my mouth. But I want to dance with somebody. So the reason that I keep calling it what's love got to do with it, or what's love got to do with Whitney, is because the lead actress looks like three people and then a fourth person as a portrayal, like all in one. She looks like Brandy, and then she looks like Yvonne Orji or Molly from Insecure, and then she looks like Angela Bassett, but she looks like Angela Bassett as Tina Turner. And so then, because she is portraying a singer in this movie, it definitely is giving me Angela Bassett as Tina Turner vibes, because if you have seen the movie, some of her is very reminiscent of the movie. But my take on that movie is they focused a lot on the relationship between Robin and Whitney. And because this movie was greenlit by Pat Houston, Whitney's sister-in-law, I'm guessing that is supposed to be kind of the telltale sign that this is like the more truthful version of Whitney's story. And what I appreciated about it is I feel like Whitney's career after a certain point was just completely overshadowed by her marriage to Bobby Brown. And so anytime there was any type of article, any type of coverage, any type of movie or documentary done, it focused very heavily on their marriage, on their relationship, and the drug usage. Whereas this one was really about, the grassroots into the superstardom and then the demise. And I think they did a really good job of kind of tying things together, and they didn't really need to get into a whole lot of detail about things like Whitney's drug use and her relationship with Bobby, because those are things that have been, covered magnanimously throughout the years. So I think, they kind of just wanted to get away from that, maybe. I don't know, just speculating. I'm no movie critic. But this is definitely just my take on it. So all in all, I think it was a good movie. I'm probably going to have to look this up to verify, but it appears that for every song that was sang in the movie, that they used Whitney's original audio. If that is the case, she did an amazing job. And not that I believe that she sang Whitney's parts for 1 second, but if they used Whitney's audio versus using another singer to sing those songs or whatever, I think that was an amazing idea. And her being able to execute those songs that way were really, it was good. She did a great job. So sorry to be all like I hate when people do that. But all right, so The Best Man, loved it. Typically when things come out like this, I'm like, all right, we need another series, we need another season, another movie, whatever. But this was just well done. And I can really appreciate that everything they were not able to delve into, like as far as each individual character in the two other movies, The Best Man and Best Man Holiday, They did a great job of really focusing on the friendships between each character. So you got to see who was closer to who, because the first two movies was really about Lance and Harper and the tumultuous relationship that they had, stemming from what ended up being uncovered as a relationship between Mia and Harper. So it was really good that that was not the focus of the series. It I think a lot of people's reservation about it was that this was just going to be like a continuation of Lance and Harper just being like upset with each other, or Lance being upset with Harper and Harper constantly trying to prove himself or whatever. There were a lot of great points made in the series about the type of person that Harper was. But one of the things I've not seen anyone speak about is the fact that there had never, in the two movies and in the series, if you've seen it, then you'll be able to follow. If you haven't, then you should tune out. But in the two movies, they had never really kind of showed love between Robin and Harper, Sanaa Lathan and Taye Diggs' character. That was really kind of a piece that I paid attention to a lot in the series, because as you can see that their marriage is clearly unfolding, the fight to stay together was never about the love for each other. It, like, there was nothing really reciprocal. It was, I mean, and a lot of people believe that marriages are just business deals after a while. It's just a contract. And I'm not sure that if they hadn't become parents, that their marriage would have even lasted as long as it did. So that was something that I noticed there. And I guess in real life, when relationships end and they're not really hinged on mutual love and respect between both parties or whatever, it's just kind of like, well, you know, we've done this much, let's just kind of thing. In real life, those relationships do end up falling apart, and it doesn't always end up being a thing where it's like either one of the parties are falling into a relationship with another person. So it was good that they focused on Sanaa being a mom and really kind of honing in on what her needs and her desires were, something that makes her complete, and that being her goal and her end game, to make sure that, you know, she lived a full life, not as Harper's wife or Mia's mom, but as herself, as Robin. And the part that I did not like, but it was true to form, was them making Taye Diggs go back to Jordan, Nia Long's character. What I didn't like about that being included is because it is just one of those storylines where it's like, you know, it's almost been depicted as an infatuation, almost just a what could have been. And Harper is really trying to make a relationship from what could have been. Like, they've been trying to sleep with each other for so long and it hasn't happened, that it's really just become one of those things to conquer, versus them actually being able to manage a relationship with each other. And so the way that Jordan handled that, I think, was very classy. It was very poignant for her to identify, again, a woman identifying herself, who she is, what she wants and deserves, and then making it a point to move on in that direction with that goal in mind. Tay Diggs was pretty much left empty at the end of that. And I mean, and that wasn't the end of the series, but that is how they ended up segueing into the end of the series. And he was still just really engulfed in his work, in things that were important to him career-wise. And, you know, a lot of times our lives are marred by, you know, just being super one-track minded about things. And even though it is affecting those that are closest to us, and it's affecting the relationships that we've tried to form, those people still end up kind of being villainized, because it's like, you're putting X, Y, and Z before this, that, and the other, because society tells us that we're supposed to put these things first. And it just seems like I was saying, the marriage between Robin and Harper almost became contractual at that point. It had less to do with their love for each other, which is why their marriage would have never worked. It ended up sustaining because they became parents. And so because they ended up having that baby, it changed the whole dynamic of why they were to stay together. But it really just kind of made the baby, we might as well do this kind of thing, you know, almost a casualty of war. So, you know, in truth, there are people who are more career driven than family driven. And sometimes things can happen in your life that can, you know, alter that direction. But it isn't going to happen with everybody. So as he still loves his daughter and has a, I don't want to call it general to like diminish it, but a general love for his ex-wife, his daughter's mom, he just is who he is. And so maybe that was the whole point of it. Now that I'm thinking about it, just really recognizing who you are and, you know, dealing with the guilt right then and there. But then also saying what ultimately is going to make me happy, and it's still going to be beneficial, you know, to those who were previously affected. How can we make better of this bad? And I mean, ultimately, they did a really, really good job. The absolute best part of the entire series was once Robin and their baby left, they had a scene where Tay Diggs is just in the home that he had purchased for his family, and it's empty, and he's watching TV, and then his guys come over. And as in every other movie they've done, they've sat down, you know, at the table, play cards, and fellowship. And them coming in and getting right down to that versus running over to him, crying, coddling, or whatever. It was one of those, we all know. We all know what's going on, what's happened, what is taking place, what's going to take place. And, you know, time is going to be what deals with this the most, the best. So we're just going to be with you as those seconds happen. And we're going to provide you with a sense of normalcy to let you know that everything in your life is not upending. So that was, I'm telling you, that scene was, if one scene can be Oscar or Emmy worthy, that was it. It was amazing. It is what men need to do. It's what black men need to do. It's what black men need to do. It was amazing. So that is my review of those two things that kind of had me wrapped up over the last 2 days. And it was not a waste. Let me know what y'all think.